In this video, we are going to go over calculator active problems from the practice EOG 26 through 30. Okay, this first problem is a little bit of a doozy. It took me a long time to figure this one out a few years ago, just because I'm so algebra-based, geometry is harder for people. For some people, if geometry is your thing, then usually you probably got this one right and figured it out right away. The key is being able to kind of step back and see what's really happening. Okay. They're telling me that I have a square inscribed in a circle, which means all of these side lengths are S because it's a square, okay? And then it's inscribed in a circle. So any point from the center to the outside has a distance of R because that's the radius. They're telling me that the area of the shaded region is 2.5 square units. They want to know what's the area of the whole circle. Okay? Well, one of the ways that I did this after it took me a little while is I kind of started dividing it up a little bit differently. Okay? So now hopefully you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles that are equivalent, they're congruent, that make up this square. Okay? Well, the other thing I hope maybe that you see is that there's 2 full ones and then this one's been what? It's cut in half. Okay? Well, look at that. 1, 2, half, 2 and a half. Okay? What does that mean? That means that the area of each one of these triangles is 1 and a half. Okay? And I'm going to just draw that again another way to help in case some people didn't see it that way. Another option is that you could have divided each one into half triangles, like to smaller triangles. Okay? If you do it that way, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces out of what? 6, 7, 8. So, 5 out of 8 pieces gives me 2.5. Okay? You can figure out how much each quadrant is worth. Okay? Each little triangle is worth. Okay? So some people did it that way. Again, to me, it was easier just to see the 2 big triangles and the half of one, which made 2.5. So that was able to let me know side, side, side. This is 1, and this is a half. Okay? Well, if I know that the area is 1, and I know that the entire square, this would be a half, has an area of what? 4. This area? Just a second. Okay. Alright, so if I know that the area of the square is 4, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 units, okay, that means I've got, well, side times side is how you find the area of the square, and it's 4. If I want to find what S is, I take the square root, so S is equal to 2, so that gives me a side length, okay? The other thing I know is that this is a right triangle, because they're telling me it's a right triangle. So if this is R times R, I can find the hypotenuse, but I already know the hypotenuse is S, which is 2. So I've got A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Well, my A and B is what? R. So I've got R squared plus R squared equals S squared. But we already know what's S squared? 4. Well, if you have 1R squared plus 1R squared, that's 2R squared is equal to 4. Now I need to solve for R, so divide by 2. R squared equals 2, which means that if I take the square root, R is equal to the square root of 2. Once I have that information, I can find the area of the circle because I have my radius. Area is pi r squared, so area is pi times square root of 2 squared. Well, that square and that square root are going to cancel, which means that the area is equal to 2 pi, which is C when you put that in your calculator. Alright, for 27, it says quadrilateral PQRS is graphed in the coordinate plane. To the nearest tenth, what is the perimeter, the distance around the outside? So first I need to count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I need to count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, those two sides are easy. Now the other one's going to be a little trickier. to be able to find it, and since this is Math 8, for my Math 1 kids, you could use the distance formula if you wanted to, but for my Math 8 kids, we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to turn this into a right triangle, where the side that I need to find is my hypotenuse. I know that this side length is 2, and this side length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 2 squared, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 2 squared plus 11 squared equals c squared. So that's what I'm trying to find, the hypotenuse. Well, that's 4 squared plus 121 equals c squared. Oops, not 4 squared, just 4. Okay, so that means that c squared is equal to 125, and if I take the square root, c is equal to the square root of 125. Okay, so I'm closer because now I'm going to erase this. I know that this side length is the square root of 125. Well, I need to do it again because I have another diagonal right here. Okay, so I'm going to draw a right triangle so that this is my hypotenuse. This is what I'm looking for. Here's my right angle. This has a side length of 3, and this has a side length of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm going to do Pythagorean theorem again. I've got my formula here, so I've got 8 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared, so that's 64 plus 9 equals c squared. So c squared is equal to 73. Then I take the square root, so I know that c is equal to the square root of 73. So now I have this distance. I'm going to erase that extra. So I know that this is the square root of 73. Well, now that I have all my sides, I can add them all up to get the perimeter. So I have 8 plus 6 plus the square root of 73 plus the square root of 25. And when you add those up, you get 33.72, so to the nearest tenth. So your answer is B. Okay, for this one, it says the cylinder is 20 inches long, and so 20 inches long. I'm going to draw my cylinder. When they're telling me 20 inches long, they're telling me that's the height, okay? 20 inches long. And that it has a diameter. My diameter is equal to 10. Well, that's the diameter. The radius is half of that. This is my radius. So that means that the radius is what? Half of 10, which is 5. And they asked me for the volume. So now all I have to do is use my formula, pi r squared times height. You have to memorize it. They will not give it to you. It's always the area of the base times the height. This is how you find the area of a triangle. Alright, so pi times radius, which is 5 squared, times height, which is 20. And if I want, I can just go ahead and enter that. But if you want to simplify it another step, you could. This is what you should enter. 25 times 20 times pi. And when you put that in your calculator, you're going to get C. Okay. Put this over here. Alright. It says the table below displays the number of DVDs sold and rented at a store for 5 weeks, which describes the association between the number of DVDs sold and number of DVDs rented. My options are no association, weak, negative, or positive. The other thing that you need to notice, because this is going to be my X's, this is going to be my Y's, is that they're not in order. Okay, the X's are not in order. So for me to kind of get a good idea, it'd be better if I reordered them. Now, if you're just going to use the calculator to graph this to see the picture, you do not have to put them in order. This, you go ahead and put this in stat edit, put this in L1, this in L2, turn on your stat plot, second y equals, press enter twice, go to graph, zoom 9, and that will graph this for you. Okay, so that's if you want to do it super quick, and you don't have to graph it yourself. It doesn't matter about the table. Now, if you're not using your calculator and you want to do it by hand, you need to turn them and put it into the correct order. Okay, so this is where I'm going to put from the my sold, this is my rented. Okay, so order from smallest to biggest would be 5, 22, 25, 40, and 45. Okay, and then I always put the numbers that match it. So it goes 28, 48, 50, 70, and 79. Okay, from here, hopefully you're noticing that these are all increasing. Okay, they're going up. You also see that these are going up. So is it negative? Absolutely not. C is out. Okay. Also, I'm going to probably go ahead and say mark out no association because I know it's increasing. Okay? The problem with this answer choice is that it says weak association. I don't know if you're talking about positive or negative, but just to be safe, I'll leave it there for a second. Again, I'm pretty sure it's D, but just to check. At this point, you could use your graph paper and graph it. Oops, sorry, wrong direction. At this point, you can use your graph paper and graph your table, which is what I've done here, and you'll see these red dots are the points from the table that I graphed, and the green line would be my line of best fit. You notice these are almost exactly in the straight line. So just to confirm, it is a positive association. And again, you could also do that on your calculator if you want. Okay, number 30. It says, what is the area of the triangle shown below? The first thing I need to remember is that to find the area of a triangle, it's base times height divided by 2. This is clearly my height, because it's a right triangle, but what I don't know is my base. However, because it is a right triangle, I can use Pythagorean theorem. This is my c because it's across from the box. So I have 3 squared plus b squared equals 5 squared. 3 times 3 is 9. 5 times 5 is 25. Now I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. Okay, so b squared equals 16. Square root, b equals 4. So I now know that my base is equal to 4. Hopefully you didn't even do all this work because you realize that this is a what? Golden triangle. Okay, 3, 4, 5. But if you did, you still got the same answer. Alright, well now that I know my base and my height, I can plug that in. So 4 times 3 divided by 2. What's 4 times 3? 12. What's 12 divided by 2? 6. My answer is B. That is the end for this video.